Vamadeva ji, as an Ayurvedic doctor and a Hindu, what is your view of eating meat and the recent debate on it?
Yes. The Hindu culture has been going on for thousands of years. It has been part of a great diversity of peoples and groups throughout Asia, and a great variety of behaviors and social systems. First thing we need to understand is that ahimsa and vegetarianism has always been promoted particularly for monks, sadhus, and spiritual practices. This is true not only in the Hindu tradition, but also in the Buddhist and Jain traditions that are related to it. At the same time, eating of meat has been allowed or has occurred in various aspects of the Hindu society. Even today, eating of goats in Himalayas and certain eastern parts of India, eating of fish in certain coastal regions. In other words, if you eat meat, you're not going to be excommunicated from being a Hindu. Many kshatriyas had meat articles in their diet, although for special festivals and sadhanas, they also were generally vegetarian as well. There's also in the tantric tradition, the Vamachara side, which had a ritualized eating of meat and done in a certain sacred manner. So we cannot just say that Hindus have to be vegetarian, or we cannot just say that because some Hindu group at some point of time ate some meat that Hindus are not vegetarian. This is a very superficial and absolutist form of thought. In ancient Vedic times, animal sacrifice is mentioned as one of many yagyas or sacrifices that can be done. But there are many other sacrifices which are not. In fact, the highest offering is always said to be soma, which is a plant juice or a plant aspect. And most of the offerings in the Vedas involve the use of ghee, sacred woods, and things like that. For those who say then that, oh, Vedic people ate beef or all these things, these are exceptional or these are exaggerations. Now, we see a similar thing in the Buddhist world. The Buddhist monks in India were strictly vegetarian. But throughout the world today, we do not have any vegetarian Buddhist countries. In China, the monks are strictly vegetarian, but the lay people are not. In Tibet, usually meat eating is allowed. Also, there are no vegetables, as you know, much growing in Tibet at 15,000 feet. But they encourage vegetarianism, and some of the lamas who are living in the West have also become vegetarian. So we cannot say that Buddhism, because some Buddhists eat meat, is not emphasizing ahimsa or the vegetarianism. So too in Ayurveda, for spiritual practice, for rejuvenation of the body, and even for calming the mind, Ayurvedic texts recommend vegetarian diet, what they call for the achara, for the behavior. And at the same time in Ayurveda, we teach the different qualities of meats and animal products for people who are likely to take them, and what benefits and what side effects they are likely to have, because the Ayurveda is meant for everybody, not just for sadhus and people going in for spiritual practice. In the course of history, Hinduism has been used by nomads, it has been used by urban people of all types, by artists, by farmers, every aspect of society, but there was never an effort to enforce one rule or one behavioral code upon everyone. The idea was to help each person and each group benefit by where they are, and from that place move on to a higher place of the spiritual development. And that has been in the case with diet and other factors involved. So it's very important that we respect life, We respect the life of the animals, we respect the vegetarianism, but we can also understand that at certain times people may take other products, animal products. But for sadhana, vegetarian diet is preferable. Also in Hindu Dharma, we have a special respect for the cow, and that is the basis of not eating of beef at a cultural level, you might say, but also the eating of meat, as you know, has many ecological side effects. It's also not always the best thing relative to the health. So I saw something very interesting recently, that someone was going to the extent that they were saying that when Hindus become vegetarian, it makes them intolerant because then they don't tolerate the diets of other people. And if you're really a tolerant person, you should eat the diets of all other people. That means you should have steaks, you should have pork, you would have whatever anybody else eats. That all sounds very nice in terms of human tolerance, but it forgets about the poor animals involved. They also have a life. So we must recognize the sacred nature of all life. If we need to use animal products for health or for other purposes or to save life, that is okay. But if we really don't need to use them, we really should reduce the consumption. Even the populations that used animal products in ancient or even up to modern times often did so because they didn't have alternatives like Tibet in their dietary region. So we should make adjustments relative to the times. At the same time, we shouldn't turn vegetarianism into a dogma to denigrate anybody who is not a vegetarian as being not spiritual. Yet, as along with that, we must honor the role of vegetarianism as an important tool for helping nature and also for making it easier for us to develop a higher awareness, because it removes some of those heavy elements and heavy tissues, and also any negative emotions that are coming in from the eating of the animals. So let's respect human life and cultural diversity, but let's also respect the whole of life extending to all the plants and the animals. Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha.